The glass doors of the Manhattan conference room swung open with a whisper. But inside my chest, it felt like thunder. I was 28, staring down at the polished oak table where the final papers lay waiting for my signature. The air smelled of fresh ink and old money, the kind that builds empires from scraps. Eleanor Vance's lawyers flanked me, their faces etched with the quiet solemnity of a funeral procession. Eleanor had passed 2 months ago, her battle with leukemia short and merciless. In her will, she'd named me, the kid she'd plucked from oblivion, as her successor. CEO of Vance Innovations, a tech firm that had revolutionized sustainable energy solutions across the East Coast. My pen hovered for a split second, then descended, carving my name, Lydia Grant. The senior partner extended his hand. Congratulations.
Yes. Grant.
Eleanor would have wanted this. I nodded, my throat tight. Eleanor hadn't just been my boss. She'd been the steel rod that kept me upright when the world tried to bend me in half. She'd never called it rescue. Rescue implies helplessness, she'd snap. I gave you tools. You built the damn house. The launch party was set for that evening in the company's flagship showroom. A gleaming space in Midtown filled with prototypes of solar panels that looked like art installations and wind turbine models that hummed with quiet power. 200 investors, tech moguls, and journalists would mingle under the LED lights, toasting to the future. I slipped into the tailored navy suit Eleanor had insisted I buy last year. Armor for the battlefield, she'd said, and rehearsed my speech in the executive washroom mirror. Every word had to land like a precision strike. That's when my assistant,
Theo,
burst in, his face pale. MS.
Grant. There are
visitors. They claim they're family. Family. The word slithered through me like ice. I hadn't seen them in 14 years. Not since that stormy night in rural Pennsylvania when they'd shoved me out the door with a wad of bills and a shrug. But there they were, materializing in the lobby like bad debts come due. My mother, Karen, looked worn, her once vibrant hair dulled to a lifeless brown, her dress a cheap polyester number that screamed discount rack. My father,
Tom,
stood beside her, belly straining against a faded button-down, eyes darting like he was casing the joint for valuables. Lydia. Honey, my mother cooed, loud enough to echo off the marble floors, drawing stares from early arrivals. She lunged for a hug, but I sidestepped, my security detail inching closer. What the hell are you doing here? My voice was low, laced with frost. We saw the article in the Times, my father said, his gaze lingering on a prototype worth more than their house. Young prodigy takes over Vance Innovations. We're so proud.
Kiddo.
Proud? The hypocrisy burned. They'd never been proud, not when I aced tests, not when I begged for stability amid their chaos. How did you even find me? Business News Travels, my mother said, her smile plastic. We had to come celebrate our girl. Our girl. I nearly laughed. You need to leave.
Now.
Her voice rose. Performative hurt for the audience. But we're family. Lydia. After all these years, board members were filtering in, whispering. I could feel the narrative shifting, the rags to riches air with estranged parents.
Touching. Toxic.
Family? I echoed, the word tasting like bile. My father leaned in, voice dropping. Don't cause a scene. We've driven far. Spare a minute for your folks.
Folks.
The audacity. Theo hovered, ready to intervene. Escort them out, I said, eyes locked on theirs. My mother's facade cracked. You can't, we're your parents. We have rights. Rights? The sharp bark of my laugh cut the air. You forfeited those the night you dumped me like garbage. But my father pulled out his phone, flashing the Times article. The world's watching your rise. How's it gonna look if you slam the door on blood? That Eleanor turned you against us. There it was, the extortion veiled as care. Not reconciliation. Leverage. The party was minutes away. Champagne flutes clinking in the distance. This was my pinnacle. The summit Eleanor and I had climbed together. Staring at these ghosts, something inside me locked into place. Cold and calculated. Fine, I said, voice carrying.
Stay.
Let everyone see you for what you are. Their eyes gleamed with triumph, missing the snare. As they sauntered toward the bar, I whispered to Theo, pull everything. Records from 12. Court filings. Call Harlan from legal. Get him here fast. The boardroom battle had just begun, and I was armed to the teeth. Flashback to that night in Easton, Pennsylvania, a town choking on factory fumes and forgotten dreams. The mill had shuttered when I was 9, leaving my father jobless and bitter. He turned to shady side hustles, flipping junk cars, dabbling in pawnshop schemes. My mother waitressed at a diner, but her tips vanished into lottery tickets and knockoff purses. Our split level on Maple Drive was a facade, fancy curtains hiding the eviction notices stacking up. I was there, oops baby, as my mother slurred one night over cheap vodka. We had dreams. Big ones. Then you showed up. By 12. The cracks widened. Dad discovered sports betting, holing up in the garage with his laptop, chasing the sure thing. Bills went unpaid. The power flickered off like a bad habit. We survived on ramen and resentment, though they always scraped enough for his bets and her smokes. School was my escape. Teachers called me sharp, said I could aim for Ivy League with scholarships. My parents rolled their eyes. Don't get ideas above your station, Mom would sneer. Life ain't fair for folks like us. The downfall hit at 13. Dad borrowed from loan sharks, polite thugs who knocked one midnight, outlining repayment in threats. Mom raged, smashing a vase while I huddled upstairs, tallying babysitting gigs to buy my own clothes. Then the scam. Mom's uncle died, leaving a modest inheritance for his grandkids' college fund. They sweet-talked Grandma into signing it over, pocketed the cash, thinking no one would notice. But auditors did. The hammer fell one rainy morning. I trudged downstairs to find them hunched over coffee-stained papers, faces ashen. This is it, Mom said, not looking at me. Can't keep this up. Keep what?
You.
All of it. Dad avoided my gaze. You're 14. Time to stand on your own. The words landed like punches. They packed a backpack, old jeans, textbooks, no keepsakes, and Dad peeled off $50 from his wallet. Crumpled singles from a lost bet. Bus station's a mile walk. You're clever. You'll manage. Rain pelted as they drove me there, tires splashing indifference. They didn't wave goodbye. I sat under the shelter till dawn.
Numb.
A cop spotted me.
Took me in.
Social services called home. No answer. The house was vacant. They'd fled their debts and me. Foster care loomed until Eleanor's attorney tracked me down. She was a second cousin, once removed. Met at a family reunion when I was 6. Tech titan. Childless. Relentless. She flew in, sized me up in the dingy office. I'm not Santa, she said, but waste offends me. Come to New York. Work your ass off. Or back you go. I grabbed the lifeline. Let's go. Eleanor's loft in Chelsea was a fortress of chrome and glass, views stretching over the Hudson like conquered territory. She stashed me in the guest suite, former maid's quarters, with rules etched in stone, rent $150 a month from warehouse gigs. School mandatory. Meals at set times. Miss one?
Starve.
Why me? I asked that first night. She paused, stirring tea. Because I started with less at your age. Someone bet on me, not pity. Investment. Pay it back by not squandering it. Eleanor was a force. Up at 4 a.m. Emails flying till midnight. She'd bootstrapped Vance Innovations from a garage tinkering with solar cells to a powerhouse supplying green tech to half the Fortune 500. Innovation isn't genius, she'd lecture. It's spotting pain points and fixing them before others wake up. She enrolled me in a magnet school where kids drove Beamers and debated stocks over lunch. I was the outsider. But Eleanor prepped me. Observe. Learn their wants. These are your future clients. Weekends. I slogged in the Brooklyn warehouse. Crating panels. Logging inventory. Blisters became calluses. Aches became endurance. Pain's a teacher, she'd say, watching me lift crates. Poverty's the real killer. Evenings. We'd pore over blueprints at her marble counter. Her interrupting algebra with lessons on patents and venture capital. When I nailed my first A in physics, she nodded. Sustain it. She was merciless. I blew my first paycheck on trendy sneakers to blend in, ate PB&J for weeks after. Own your choices, she said. Nightmares haunted me. Rain-slicked bus stops. Parents' taillights fading. Eleanor never consoled, but herbal tea appeared mornings after. We didn't discuss it. Gradually, I decoded her. Orphaned young in Detroit. She'd hustled through MIT on grit. Repaid every loan with interest. Emotion's a distraction, she'd declare over contracts. Feel it alone. Act with steel. By sophomore year, I shadowed her at meetings, crunching data on competitors. She called me analyst, never ward. Earn your spot. College acceptance to Columbia, full ride in engineering, marked her first real smile. We toasted with scotch older than me. Not victory, she clarified. Milestone. Hold the line. Our bond deepened, from transaction to alliance. She taught me to dissect balance sheets like autopsies, pivot on market shifts. When I pitched eco-batteries pre-boom, she greenlit it. Profit soaring. Promotion to VP followed. You seized it, she said. That's ownership. The diagnosis hit like a blackout. Liver cancer.
Advanced.
6 months tops. She fought 7. Dictating memos from bed. I moved in, managing ops while she faded. No tears, she warned. Build on my foundation. That's legacy. Her last night. City lights flickering. She whispered, your parents will crawl back. Smell success. Don't forgive freely. But don't let hate erode you. Rise above their rot.
Now.
At the party, I watched them schmooze, spinning tales of their prodigy daughter. Rage simmered, but strategy ruled. Theo slipped me a tablet, records pulled. Bankruptcy filings listing me as emancipated dependent to dodge child support. Fraud reports from Pennsylvania, scamming relatives. Voicemails to Eleanor's office years ago, warning I'd steal if I showed. Harlan arrived. Briefcase bulging. We can bury them, he murmured. Libel. Extortion attempts. I nodded. The speech loomed. Guests clustered. Champagne flowing. I took the podium. Lights hot on my face. Thank you for joining this new chapter, Advance Innovations. Applause.
Then, pivot.
But first, a personal note. Many know my story, rising from nothing.
Tonight.
Meet the nothing. My parents. Here, uninvited.
Gasps.
Their smiles froze. They abandoned me at 14 with $50.
Now.
They seek a cut. I signaled, screens lit with docs. This is the eviction notice from our home. Debts they fled. This. The police report from the bus station where they left me. Murmurs swelled. My mother's face strained. These are emails to Eleanor, slandering me as unstable. The room hushed. I'm not vengeful, but truth illuminates. I played an old recording, Mom boasting at a bar. Best decision. Ditching the kid. Free at last. Laughter echoed mockingly now. The fallout was swift. Guests averted eyes. Investors whispered. My parents bolted for the door. But media swarmed. Harlan cornered them. Sign a no-contact agreement. Or face charges. They blustered. But folded. By midnight, they were gone. Tails tucked. I retreated to the loft. Adrenaline crashing. Eleanor's portrait watched from the wall, stern. Approving. It's not over, I whispered. They'll slither back. Morning brought calm. Board solidified behind me. But resolve hardened. I tasked Harlan. Dig deeper. Every scam. Every victim. Reports poured in. Elder fraud in 3 states. Bilked pensions. They'd resurfaced in Jersey.
Grifting small time.
I plotted. Not destruction, control. Weeks blurred into strategy. The press conference I called packed the auditorium. Flashes popped. Regarding recent family claims, I began. Here's the unvarnished truth. Screens flared again, expanded evidence. Fraud indictments pending. Their attorney's statement. Misled. Withdrawing. Social media ignited. $50 start trended. Survivors sharing horrors. My parents went underground, but I tracked them to a Fleabag motel in Newark. Eviction looming. Set a meet, I told Harlan. Neutral ground. I have an offer. The law office in Lower Manhattan smelled of leather and leverage. My parents shuffled in. Shadows of their former selves, Dad's shirt threadbare. Mom's makeup smudged. They sat across the glass table, eyes downcast. The fight leached out. You win, Dad muttered. I slid the folder over. Sign this. Admit abandonment. Waive all claims to Vance or Eleanor's estate. No contact. Ever. Mom's hands trembled flipping pages. And in return? A reset. Not cash, a job. Their heads snapped up. There's a solar assembly plant in Ohio we own quietly. Entry level. Housing included. Minimum wage. But honest. Factory work? Mom scoffed. We're not. Not what?
Above it?
You're drowning in debt. Warrants stacking. Harlan interjected. Refuse. And prosecutions proceed. Time served likely. Silence thickened. Dad sighed.
The job.
They signed. Pens scratching like confessions. Report Monday. Foreman expects grit. No shortcuts. As they rose, Mom paused. Why bother? Not for you. To excise you cleanly. Work hard. Stay gone. Harlan escorted them out. Alone, I exhaled. The plant was a Vance subsidiary. Acquired stealthily. Their paychecks? My signature. Garnishments would repay victims, tracked meticulously. Irony poetic. Their labor fueling my empire. Months ticked by. Board meetings hummed. Innovations launched. A letter arrived, handwritten. From MS. Harlow, my old science teacher. Saw the news. Remembered the girls sketching circuits in detention. Sorry I missed the signs at home. You thrived despite. Eleanor was your catalyst. Build beyond their shadow. I filed it. A gentle ghost. Detective Reyes updated. They're clocking in daily. No slips. Friday. I visited the warehouse where I'd started. Echoes of crates and sweat. Supervisor Mia joined me.
You handled it right.
Eleanor to prove. She'd have crushed them. Mia shook her head.
No.
She'd have engineered the perfect bind, like you did. That night. In the loft. I poured bourbon, Eleanor's favorite. Contained, I toasted the empty chair. City pulse below. In Ohio, they toiled. Pay stubs bearing my name. Oblivious. 6 months later, the call. MS.
Grant.
Peterson from the plant. The Carters, The employees pieced it together. Ownership. They request to meet. Inevitable. They showing up? Every shift. Transformed. Honestly. I flew out, landing as dusk cloaked the industrial park. Workers exited. Weary but purposeful. Spotting them. Dad leaner. Muscled from assembly lines. Mom's hair natural. Face lined but resolute. They approached warily. We know, Mom said. The company. The repayments. Not complaining, Dad added. We'll settle every debt. I searched for deceit, found sincerity. It'll take years. Then years it is, Mom replied. Why stay? You could bolt. Dad chuckled ruefully. This work, backbreaking. But earned. No schemes. No fear. Seeing coworkers grind for families. We get what we wasted. No forgiveness, I stated. Not seeking it, Dad said. Just acknowledging. Eleanor saved you from us. Best twist of fate. A horn blared. Next shift. Overtime, Mom explained. Speed's payback. They turned. Then Dad looked back. That $50? Last of a bad bet. We chose vice over you. And now, just labors. Atoning. They vanished into the glow. I lingered.
Processing.
Not redemption. Evolution.
Perhaps.
Back in New York. Clarity struck. I founded the Vance Spark Fund. Grants for abandoned teens in tech startups.
Seed money?
Their garnishments. Funneled directly. Their debts birthing others' dreams. At the next board meet. Queries on the plan's uptick. Efficiency spiked 15%. Motivated staff, I said. That afternoon. Signing payroll. Their names blended in routine deductions. Business. Detached. A call interrupted. Unknown number. MS. Grant. Riley from Philly. 16. Read your story. Folks say I'm out at 18, too costly. Saved $30. Enough. Eleanor's portrait loomed. Plenty, I assured. Let me share what Eleanor taught, turning scraps into circuits. As I guided Riley, truth crystallized. That $50 wasn't an end. It ignited. Their rejection forged my ascent.
Now.
I penned checks sustaining hundreds, including them. Revenge, succession, empowering the discarded. Cycle breaking. The fund's launch gala buzzed in the showroom. Prototypes gleaming like beacons. Investors pledged millions. Stories poured in from applicants. Teens with blueprints and fire. Riley's email arrived post-call, starting a solar lamp project for homeless shelters. Thanks for the spark. Satisfaction bloomed. Deeper than any acquisition. But shadows lingered. A year in, Peterson updated. Carter's promoted, line leads. Training new hires. Progress. Unwanted. I pushed it aside. Diving into expansions. West Coast hubs. International patents. Eleanor's lessons echoed. Scale smart. Not sentimental.
Then,
the unexpected audit alert. Minor discrepancies at the plant. Harlan flagged. Could be nothing, or them reverting. Paranoia flickered. I drove out unannounced. Arriving at shift change. The floor hummed, panels zipping along belts. Spotting them supervising. Authoritative yet fair. Dad, notice first. Lydia. Workers paused, sensing tension. Office, I said. In the cramped room. Mom closed the door. We didn't ask for this. Ask for what? Promotion. But we earned it. Dad nodded. Overtime paid half the debts already. Skepticism held. No games. Mom met my gaze.
None.
Works. Grounding. We see you in the designs, your influence. Flattery? No. Recognition. Why meet now? To say, we're staying. Finishing what we started, repaying, rebuilding. Silence. And you? I probed. Dad shrugged. Content. For once. They returned to the line. I observed from afar. Efficiency wasn't fraud, it was reform. Back home. I confided in Theo over coffee.
There.
Different. People change when forced to face mirrors. Eleanor's words resurfaced. Rise above. The fund thrived. First grantee prototyped a wind app for farms. Success breeding success. A reporter interviewed. From abandoned to architect. What's the secret? Grit from loss, I said. And mentors who demand excellence. 2 years post-abandonment showdown. A package arrived. Plain envelope. Ohio postmark. Inside. A ledger. Handwritten tallies of repayments. Every victim listed. Balances zeroed. A note. Debts cleared. We stay on. No more burdens. Signed. Tom and Karen. Harlan confirmed. All settled. Relief mixed with void. Closure without catharsis. I donated the ledger to the fund's archive. Exhibit for resilience seminars. Life accelerated. Vance went public. Shares soaring. I keynote conferences. Sharing sanitized origins. But privately. Bus station dreams recurred less. Therapy helped unpack. Abandonment wired you for control.
Now.
Release. I tried. A fund event brought Riley on stage, her lamps lighting shelters nationwide. MS. Grant believed in my $30.
Now.
Believe in yours. Applause thundered. Post-event. A call. Peterson. Carter's retiring early, savings built. Bought a small place. Their choice. Freedom granted. Earned. Retirement didn't sever ties entirely. A holiday card arrived, first ever. Proud of the fund. Saw Riley's story. No signature request. Just acknowledgement. I filed it, unmoved but noted. Empire demands consumed. Mergers. R&D breakthroughs. Eleanor's portrait now shared wall space with fund impact reports. Lives transformed. 3 years on. An invite. Plant's anniversary picnic. Curiosity won. I attended incognito. Laughter echoed over grills. Families mingled. Spotting them at a table. Graying but vibrant. Chatting with retirees.
Dad spotted me.
Waved subtly. Approached alone. Didn't expect you. Checking investment. Mom joined. Tentative smile. We're good. Really? Conversation flowed, plant anecdotes. Fund praises. No apologies sought, none given. As sun set, Dad said, that $50? Our rock bottom. Yours? Launchpad. Mom added. We broke the cycle by breaking you free. Parting. A nod. Stay well. Driving away. Weight lifted, not forgiveness. But finality. The real legacy? The fund's 100th grantee, a kid from a bus stop tale. Inventing renewable chargers. Your story inspired, he wrote. Signing his grant check. I realized. Their abandonment seeded not just my rise, but a forest of futures. $50 birthed billions in impact. Eleanor's ethos. Build better. I had beyond vengeance. Into virtue. Years blurred. At 50, reflecting from the loft, now mine fully, I poured scotch. Toasting ghosts. City evolved, but lessons endured. A call. MS. Grant. Mia from Ohio. The Carters passed, peacefully. Together. Obituaries noted. Devoted workers, quiet philanthropists, donated savings to local shelters. Their final act, echoing my path. No tears, a quiet smile. The girl with $50 had orchestrated symphonies from silence. What lingers? The ethical echo. Does control heal? Or merely contain? In success a shadow? Perhaps both.